Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. Today we have a special video. It's about an NFL legend at the coaching position. His name is Jimmy Johnson, formerly the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys on the professional level and the University of Miami on the college level, along with Oklahoma State. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me is our college and National Football League expert, Mr. Tommie Woods, coming live to us out of Grambling, Louisiana. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it as we talk about this great legend, a man that knew how to coach the game at its highest level. How you doing this morning, Mr. Woods?
Doing great this morning. How you doing, Mr. Turner?
Let's get to it. The Dallas Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson, one of the best that's ever done it at the position there in the National Football League. My question to you before we start today is, what would the Dallas Cowboys would have accomplished if Jimmy Johnson wouldn't have stepped down as head coach after his first two Super Bowl wins?
Well, from what I've seen from Coach Johnson, who's always been a winner, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys would have been the first team to make it to 7 Super Bowls before the New England Patriots would have made it, because Jimmy Johnson, the way that he coached, the way that the men responded to his coaching techniques spoke volume about this man. And I just feel like if they would not have had the issues with him on the field, as well as ownership, not letting him lead as the head coach and as the head recruiter, as the head of football operations, I feel like Dallas would have definitely been the dynasty of the NFL.
The thing about Jimmy Johnson that I love about what we're doing on him today is that he attended the University of Arkansas as I did. And I knew about Jimmy Johnson when I went to school up there as a true freshman. He had long gone, left the University of Arkansas. But the thing about Jimmy Johnson is that genius, creative power, exceptional intellect. Here's a guy that came out of Beaumont, Texas, and he went to the same high school as Janis Joplin. And think about all the players the high school that he attended, that he set the kind of the groundwork. Tim McKay, that played with the San Francisco 49ers. Joe Washington, who was Boomer Sooner, University of Oklahoma. Steven Jackson, a great NBA player. Kerry Vincent on the national championship team at LSU. Jamal Charles, Hook'em Horns, University of Texas. At Memorial High School, Jimmy Johnson set that tone. But then he went to the University of Arkansas, won a national championship as a starting offensive guard. Played on that team with Bobby Crockett. Jerry Jones, we know who he is, probably the most powerful owner in professional sports. Fred Marshall, Ken Hatfield, and he was on the Arkansas team. But what got me, and what I love about his career, he knew early on that he didn't want to play at the professional level. He wanted to get into coaching. Then he graduated with honors with a degree in sociology, one of the highest grade point averages on the football team. But this is what sticks out about Jimmy Johnson's story. His first job was at Louisiana Tech as an assistant. And we watched the NFL today with him doing with a gentleman. And they really close on that set. And I didn't even notice that he had a part in recruiting Terry Bradshaw to Louisiana Tech. So now the relationship there, now understand what Jimmy Johnson is so powerful. Then he went on after that, went to Iowa State under Johnny Majors, hell of a football coach, University of Tennessee. Then he went back to Arkansas in 1973. That was his dream job. Coached some outstanding defensive football players. Dirk Winston, that got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brinston Minor. But he didn't get the job in 1977. They gave it to Lou Holtz the year before I arrived at Arkansas. But you know what Jimmy Johnson did? He didn't stay on Lou Holtz's staff because he said, hey, in my mind, in my heart, I should have been the head coach of the school that I played for y'all, produced a national champion. But he went to Pittsburgh under Jackie Sherrill. And this is what Jimmy Johnson, I think, when you look at good coaches, they have an eye for talent. Think about him being the DC at the University of Pittsburgh, who you recruited before we even heard him at the University of Miami or Oklahoma State. Randy Holloway, Dave Logan, Al Chesley, Ricky Jackson, Jimbo Covert, Hugh Green, Natchez, Mississippi. The guy had already built a resume. Then he got the job at Oklahoma State. And at that time, Stillwater is about 2.5 hour drive from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I was at the University of Arkansas when he got that job. And Oklahoma State had went 3-8 in 1978. The first year he got there, they went 7-4. But think about the football players he had on the team. He changed it around so quick. Dexter Manley, Ron Ingram, John Croker, Sean Jones, a very highly experienced Leslie O'Neal. So he had already built a foundation, and then we know what he did with the University of Miami. Kevin Fagan, Russell Maryland, Jerome Brown, Daniel Sturps, Michael Irvin, Randall Hill, Cleveland Gary, Steve Wash, National Championship in 1987. Now, going back to you, Mr. Woods. When he first got the job in 1989, there was a lot of chaos because the great legend Tom Landry had been fired. Dallas went 1-15. I want you to be honest with me today. My savant out of Grambling, Louisiana, by way of Ruston. When the Cowboys went 1-15, did you see them winning back-to-back Super Bowls, and did you see Jimmy Johnson building that program to the level that needed to be?
Yes, I did. Just following Jimmy Johnson, his record, and actually just following his coaching stints. He started out, just like you said, at Louisiana Tech in 1965 as an assistant coach. And then in 1966, he moved down to Picayune Memorial High School as an assistant coach. He left out of there in 1967, going to Wichita State University, where he coached. And in 1968 and 69, he went over to just like you said, Johnny Rodgers, and coached over at Iowa State. And after he left Iowa State, he went over to the University of Oklahoma, where he coached several years as a defensive line coach. And then he went right back to his alma mater between 1970 and 73, University of Arkansas Razorback. And with all that experience, and then the type of coach that he is, be able to coach young men, because we know that in the era of the University of Miami Hurricanes, they were always thought of Jimmy Johnson's team as renegades. Or I know you remember the Catholics against the convicts deal that they had with the T-shirts. And, all of Jimmy Johnson's team, they always felt like, that they were renegades. But, these young men that Jimmy Johnson coached, they understood, what Jimmy Johnson stood for. And, these guys, anytime that you have a coach that can get players to play for him and, and know that his system is intact, that they had to respond and that they have to apply, what they've learned in the video room, on the strategy board. This is why this man, I knew that the Cowboys were going to be successful. Didn't know that they were going to win back-to-back Super Bowl, but I definitely knew that they were going to be successful because of the coaching techniques that this man used, the relationship that he had with players, moving from the college ranks to the pro ranks, because, he always played wide open. At the University of Miami, whenever they played, it was no holds barred. They would always play. They were blowing people out. That's why a lot of coaches, really didn't like their system and like Jimmy Johnson, what he was doing. But, anytime that you're playing a game, and you want to be the best of the best, you cannot afford to have other teams to come back after you've been out 35, 25, 35 points ahead, and somebody come back and beat you. But yes, I did believe that they would be successful. Did not believe that they would win back-to-back Super Bowls.
follow me on this is what I'm finna say about Jimmy Johnson. See, there's always levels of being an outstanding individual, being able to lead people in any profession. And when you look at Jimmy Johnson as a football coach, I came up with 5 key ingredients that you have to be a great football coach. Able to manage a group of individuals at the highest level, a good understanding of human psychology, a motivator, positive attitude, enthusiasm off the charts, active listener, sharing skills and knowledge, positive role model, developing trust, positive reinforcement, and being consistent. When he took the job with the Cowboys and they went 1-15, he looked at that football team and he said, hey, this is a bad football team. But my best player is Herschel Walker. And I got to trade him. And he traded him for, I believe, when it's all said and done, a total of 15 players. And you look what the Cowboys did, from the draft from 1990 to 1993. 90, they picked up Emmitt Smith, Jimmy Jones, Kenneth Gant. The 91 draft, Russell Maryland, Alvin Harper, Dixon Edwards, Eric Williams, Leon Lett, Larry Brown. The 92 draft, Kevin Smith, Dan Woodson, Robert Jones. The 93 draft, Kevin Williams, and Brock Marion. That's when you know that a man is willing to take the guts and have the ability to develop a Super Bowl champion. And from 1992 to 1996, that era in the National Football League, in my opinion, is the greatest era of football of one organization dominating at a high level. I know the New England Patriots have had great success under Tom Brady, but you go back to the 92 to 96 period with Jimmy Johnson at the helm and the talent, what he had is no better organization. No better organization in the history of the National Football League. And that's why in the NFL, his winning record was 80-64. 2 Super Bowls. At the college level, 81-34-3. In the first coach to ever win a national championship in college football and win a Super Bowl. So, Mr. Woods, your final words about this legend, savant, out of the state of Texas, Mr. Jimmy Johnson.
Well, just looking at his record, just like you said, Jimmy Johnson was a champion, when he come out of college. He won a college football championship in 1965, and he won as a college head coach in 1987 with the University of Miami Hurricanes. And we look at all of his career awards. 1990, he was NFL Coach of the Year. 1986, he won the Walter Camps Coach of the Year. He was elected to the College Football Hall of Fame. 2012, he was elected to the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame. 2020. And like I said, you just look at all the accolades that this man has accumulated and just think about all the ones that he would have accumulated if the Dallas Cowboys would have retained him the year after he won his second Super Bowl. I think Jimmy Johnson is probably one of the best coaches, that's college as well as NFL, in the history of football. And I believe that, even with him being an analyst right now with NFL, Pro Football, NFL Game Day, this guy has a lot of knowledge and he's well respected because of how he coached. A lot of people didn't like the way he coached, but still, anytime you can get a group of men together and have them on one accord and have them playing together, knowing what the next man is going to do on the next play, or if somebody gets hurt, next man up, and you know what your job is, you're talking about a very talented and a very great football coach.
If you like the video today, please come and share it. We surely appreciate here at 100 Yards Football. I'd like to give special thanks to our producer that made it happen today, Mr. Jeremiah Long. To my man from Brooklyn, New York, Mr. Ronnie Keebler, thank you. To Mr. Bobby Butler, Florida State, Atlanta Falcon great, thank you. To Mr. Logan Landers for making it happen for us every Wednesday, thank you. To Mark Denham, man, thank you. I love you. Congratulations. Mr. Denham's son graduated yesterday from West Georgia. Many proud love and respect to him and his wife. And family, to the legend, out of Graham, Louisiana, Ruston, Louisiana. His son was part of that Cowboy Nation. First round draft pick, his son Russell in the 1991 NFL draft. My man, Mr. Jim Maryland. My final words about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say this about Jimmy Johnson. Able to manage a group of individuals at its highest level. How about them Cowboys? Y'all be blessed here on 100 Yards of Football.